when life gives you lemons, you can make lemonade or you can make margarita and put a straw in it. I'm with the filmmaker who decided to make margarita with a straw. Shonali, thank you so much for being with Filmy Cafe.
Thank you.
And of course, Nilesh, right?
Thank you so much.
So, lemonade, you could have made lemonade. Why did you want to make margarita with a straw?
Lemonade. So when life throws lemons at you, you can be bitter and sour, or you can make lemonade or a margarita, which is even better than lemonade. Is kind of the quote. And so yeah, for me, margarita is. I mean, I love that drink, and with a straw because the character can only drink with a straw, and I believe in that philosophy hugely of a positive energy.
This comes from a deeply personal space for you. Did making this film therefore become more difficult, or was it more therapeutic and uplifting as you made it, the journey of making this film?
So for craft, it made it much easier for me because I knew exactly how I wanted everything, how it looked and how it should feel, especially anything to do with illness and things like that. And but I think it was very difficult emotionally to make it. So I don't know if at the end of it that's cathartic or not. I'm still on that journey, but I think there were many times that I broke down completely while shooting, and then have to just deal with that. And everybody has to deal with that, and then I'll pull it together and I'll keep going.
Now you said that you wouldn't have made this film if you didn't find the right person for Leila. What about Kalki made her the right person for Leila?
Oh, I can't think of any other person. The moment we wrote the first draft, there was this picture of Kalki in front of me, which I had sent to Shonali. Uh, there was something in her face, in her eyes, just how she was, that gave me hope that she can be Laila. Because I was not sure, because Kalki's not done anything like this before, and it was really, if she does it, I knew it would be path breaking. And so then we kind of wrote to Kalki. She read the script. The moment she read the script, she said, "I want to do it." But we were still thinking, like, so that we caught up with her. We did 10 minutes of rehearsal. She got a glint of her Lila. Just got a hint of it. We were like, we'll just take this chance. And she was ready to do all the work that it needed. She gave 2.5 months of her life completely for this film to prepare for it. There we were, Lila.
One of, I think, the residing impacts that this film has is it walks this line between sympathy and empathy, which one of my dear friends pointed out. Walking that line must have, as a filmmaker, been tricky for you because it could have taken any shape, way, or form. So tell us about how do you define that line and how did you walk it?
Guneet, that's such a beautiful thing you just said. That's a beautiful thing. I'm so glad that somebody would have watched the film and come out and said that comment that this film makes you understand empathy and not sympathy. I didn't know that. I love that. But I mean, I think it's not deliberate on my part. So for me as a filmmaker, I didn't consciously do it. All I knew is that I don't want you to pity my character because I grew up with a sister with cerebral palsy. If anybody dared to even pity or look or anything, we were like Madurgas just fighting as children only, leave alone as adults, like as young kids, because we would go out all the time with her. So I couldn't stand, like I would just fight with anybody, even physically, like as a young kid. She's just a year younger. So I think that's just ingrained in me that there's no question of pitying my character. So I made her so bold and ballsy, like she's so matlab, जो भी करना चाहती है वो करती है. Like she's completely her own person. She gets what she wants. In fact, you can't. She's breaking hearts. Poor Dhruv. So definitely she's matlabi. She does what she wants, and that makes you see her as a real person, and you cease to see her as a person in a wheelchair, because the moment you look at a disabled person as an able-bodied person, those those glasses come on and you're like, hi bichari. You cannot avoid that, and you immediately, like, you just soften and like you just have a different attitude, and I just fiercely can't bear that. So I'm just like, you need to look at her like you look at anybody else. And so I feel that that would have been definitely my attempt, but this is a beautiful way to put it, that you then have empathy and not sympathy.
Yeah, that's where this film completely breaks the barriers of how we look at films with disability. The moment you say the films with disability, and there were people, oh, so now she will achieve something and she will be a hero in the film. And come watch the film, you would know how not to look at disabled people.
And actually, on that note, see, because my cousin actually, she's got double masters. She has acute cerebral palsy. She lives independently in London. She has a job. She earns more than me. So I could have done it on her life, on something that would have made it a more mainstream, typical film, because it's about somebody with a cute disability who, against all odds, achieves something. But that I felt has been there, done that. बहुत देखा है हमने. But we've not seen a story where it's really not about your achievement and overcoming your disability. It's about your inner need. Which, if somebody asks me, what is this film about? I'll say it's about you. It is about you. You, any of you, it's about you. It's about your journey of finding love and of finding yourself and really finding that love and acceptance for yourself within yourself.
Touched on your cousin, Malini, and there's a really interesting story behind what sparked you to walk down this path. Can you share that with us? How this whole Margarita with a straw started?
So I stopped in London on my way back from Los Angeles to India. She was there at the time, and we met for a drink in a pub. And I had just turned 40, which I was just like, now I'm going to turn 50, and that's going to be better. But 40 at that time was just like the best thing that happened to me, the best birthday. So I was like, it's going to be your 40th birthday, and what are we going to do for your 40th birthday? Malini's speech is really garbled. You cannot understand it unless you really know her. But sometimes when she's really angry, and this time she wasn't angry, but it just came out crystal clear in that pub, loud. I just want to have sex. And that made me think that, oh man, I haven't thought about this about her. And that was the jump.
That from that joyous moment to this joy de vivre that's continuously a running vein in the film, why was it so important for you to make a happy film about this subject, this character, this story? Why did you have to maintain that thread of joy de vivre throughout the film?
Oh, you just gave away the story of the film. It's a happy film. Oh, it's
Spoiler alert!
a happy film. Oh, I thought it's dark. It's dingy. It's troubling. Oh, thank you.
I love. So Malini has immense joie de vivre, and her spirit is so alive. And I told Kalki, like, you need to imbibe that spirit. It's not just about the physicality. But I think there's lots of other side, and but ultimately for me, I'm a very positive, optimistic person who's faced hugely difficult things, like the death of a child, and yet I have that spirit of life, and I gave that to my character too, and she has that. So difficult things happen to her. There's definitely painful things. So you can go the other way, right? You can just be a wreck, and you can just be, life sucks, life is unfair. You can be bitter, or you can make a margarita and say cheers.
What I asked Kalki this as well. What do you guys, as a part of the creative team on the film, will be the remnant impact of Margarita with a straw? I know the audiences feel happy, empowered, they feel uplifted. What has been the lasting impact on you guys as the creative team?
On us, gosh. I mean, I've grown hugely as a filmmaker. Just I've grown hugely as a person because in dealing with very difficult things and very challenging to write and direct this and think about these subjects and to get the kind of performances. So just in my craft, like it's like going to film school 10 times. I feel that like this film has been for me, how much I've learned in just making it, and just as a person. When you tread that difficult path, that difficult emotional path, and you embrace that, that can only lift you and make you be more evolved as a person. When you face all the challenges that this film had, including financing and just difficult, dark times, and still just keep the spirit that we are not going to give up, we are going to keep going, and that's something the two of us for 3 years constantly, no money, no money. You're dealing with all these people, you're dealing with people's schedules, dealing with being in a foreign country where people are quitting, all kinds of terrible things are happening, shit is hitting the fan all the time, and you just have to keep that positive spiritual energy and believe in yourselves, believe in your film more than anything else. And I think that just imbues you with strength and courage even more than when you had it.
Oh, I feel I don't think of it philosophically at all. The remnant impact is still traumatic. I'm still involved in the logistics of making this film, and that's the reality of it. I'll think about it when it's all over and I go off to Himalayas for 1 week. I'll think about it then. I'm seriously traumatized. The process of making it, it's for her, it's a third film. For me, it's my first. Making an independent film is killing. 3 years, it's killing. That's a fact of life. So give me some time to think about that.
I think we all need to go and grab a margarita. We'll grab it with a straw, or you can, whatever beer will do for you. But thank you so much for making time for Filmy Cafe, and all the very best.